Hey everybody, this is Off Leash with Erik Prince. I'm Mark Serrano. We are still talking about the tremendous victory by Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Erik, we've got another Trump term coming up, thank God. Now, one of the huge issues, of course, in this election was the southern border, was illegal immigration. In fact, it was around December 2023 when the economy was no longer the top concern of voters, but it flipped. So that became number two to illegal immigration because of its impact on communities across the country. So here's, the mainstream media did their best to smear Donald Trump, as they've been doing since June 16, 2015, when he came down the escalator. And on the illegal immigration policy, 60 Minutes had done a show 2 weeks ago, which talked about deportation, right? This was the new smear of Donald Trump. You can't deport 10, 11 million people.
And they put a bunch of bureaucrats on camera to say, well, it's impossible, it'll cost too much, it'll take us years and all the rest. And it is exactly, it reminded me exactly of after Hurricane Katrina, when my old company was asked by by FEMA to provide security, 700 people all through the Gulf Coast, and the employee union of the Federal Protective Service, part of DHS, said, well, the conditions are too rough and too unsafe, we can't go. We can't do our job that we're paid to do as federal employees. That is exactly what the case will be. There's already, beyond the 5 or 10 or 20 million illegals that have entered America, there are 1.6 million people that have final deportation orders issued through every court system. Unappealable, it's done. They have committed multiple crimes while here in America, but they're still moving around American society. That's the easiest one for people to say, yes, those people have to go back. And even if you said to the federal government, federal bureaucrats to say, find them and remove them, they will slow roll. And so I think Trump has to have options of, this is the federal solution of all, from the find, prove, detain, deport process, if you do it all federally, and we have an off-ramp, an annex to each of that says, okay, this is what you can do on the federal government side or state or local law enforcement, and this is what the private sector can do to supplement that legally, on the detention and the holding them, because again, final deportation orders, no other need for any other court or bureaucracy. Get them to a holding area, get them on an airplane, send them back to their country of origin. And if those countries don't want to say, oh, we're not going to take them back, fine. No more visas from that country ever. Cut them off from the SWIFT system. There's pain points that can be applied. On top of that, we have a roadmap for how to make it unpopular or very difficult to be an illegal swimming through the U.S. economy. For banking, for employment, for driving a car, for any of those aspects. UAE, United Arab Emirates, they control their immigration very, very strictly. So if you go to open a bank account, you have to show residency. If you check into a hotel, you either have a passport or a residency ID. All these places that there are actual checks, that it's enforced with consequences, that is not unconstitutional and not out of step with living in a free society, to have people verify that they belong in the society, and that it's not just whoever shows up by any means.
So Trump talked about a lot of the elements of illegal immigration. So for instance, he said he will ban sanctuary cities, and it's about damn time. And I think people will welcome that. We've seen voters in places like Chicago saying, "Are you kidding me? We're putting these folks from out of the country in luxury hotels in Chicago and New York City." New York City's got a tremendous economic crisis because of the burden that hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants that were shipped there from this administration on buses, by air, into these cities around the country with this intentional invasion.
Dropping thousands of people into Springfield, Ohio.
Changing the very nature of that town.
Taking out pets and wildlife. That's a real thing. It's not a joke. If you think about the breakdown of even an election, I remember 2016 election, Trump won like 3,200 counties, and Hillary Clinton won like 80. Huge delta, right? And the 80 that she won were cities, sanctuary cities. The rest of the country, largely policed by sheriffs that are elected, that are responsive to the people. That's the easiest ally to cooperate with for a federal, state, local partnership to pay, incentivize the location and detention of illegal immigrants, take them to a holding area, etc. If the big city, super left-wing cities don't want to cooperate, that's where federal resources can be focused, and the job can be divided up, and the mountain can be eaten one bite at a time.
Well, as sheriffs, these are the guys on the front lines of the illegal immigration crisis.
Sure.
So they see the impact of the effect. They'll be delighted to get these people out of their community. And so on top of that, I see ICE getting the handcuffs off and being able to actually do their job where they've been blocked by these sanctuary cities and the administration, the Biden administration.
And internal super politicized oversight where they're more focused on gender reassignment than they are on actually doing their job.
So if you recall at the start of the first Trump administration, he was going to ban immigration from terrorist nations.
Right.
And what did the media do? Oh, you're such a racist.
It's a Muslim
You're
ban.
Islamophobic, right?
And what that means is to issue someone a visa from some country in question, you have to, right? The state, when someone goes to apply for a visa at a consulate, they take that information, that application,